say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet. Gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen. In Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Hello and welcome to Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Hello, Mrs. Farmer.
How are you?
I like my Canadian tuxedo.
I like it. It's very nice.
Thank you very much. Look who's behind us, just chowing away.
Aren't they loud?
You know what, Mo, the little black Angus cross from the brown Swiss Mama, we planned on taking a 700-pound calf in.
Right.
But it's so wet we can't get a trailer in here.
So he's growing, isn't he?
So we're going to have a 900-pound calf, which, hey, that's okay too.
Yeah.
And you know, the little guy who we really worried about first, he's done so well. He's probably, I bet he's 5.5 right now.
Yeah.
So this, again, is not a way to have cheap meat. On the theme song that I wrote a long time ago, the part that goes about slashing your grocery prices,
Right.
that does not apply to them.
Because you feed them too good.
I feed them too good. But you know what? To have the peace of mind to know where your beef comes from,
Right.
to know what's in it or not in it, we know.
Right.
We really, really know. We got a jam-packed show for you tonight. Let's say that you're out fishing,
Okay.
which we plan on doing a lot of. We'll probably be at Lake Cumberland more this summer. Full striper.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best eating in the world. If you go to major restaurants in New York, Los Angeles, that's a delicacy.
Really?
Striped bass or striper. We're going to talk about blackened seasoning, the history of that, and why we're going to use it today, and some sides. We've got decent weather.
Yay.
Again,
One day.
We
One
can't
day.
take the cameras out in the rain because they would melt and Kelly would be mad.
That's right.
And that would be bad.
It would be bad.
So we do have one day.
That's right.
One break. And we're going to go up here and take advantage with some cowboy cooking. So let's go up the hill. Did you just realize that we're outside?
I like this.
Is it not fabulous?
One day.
Does it make you think about spring?
Yes.
I'm glad we're up on a hill because we might float away. There's
That's
so
true.
much water. I'm so sick of mud and rain.
It is
and
muddy.
mud and rain. But it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Right around the corner. But we do get the cowboy cook today. We got some water boiling. We
see
got
that.
We got that going for us.
That's good.
Now, you've seen us striper fish before. Here's a clip from Kentucky, a field. Now, while you're watching us pull these huge fish in here, I did this for about 20 years. It was a great job. The resources are great here. But we like to bring as much food to the table as we possibly can that we have caught or that we have raised in a garden or raised animal-wise as we can. Let's talk about these striped bass. Beautiful, wonderful fish. In Kentucky, they can get up to 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds.
Wow.
Huge animals. Now, the thing about these stripers in their natural area, it's on the East Coast, around the Gulf, around that area. Now, they moved them since then out to the West Coast and all over the United States in some lakes. And I think they started out in Santee Cooper in South Carolina.
Really?
Our biologist, fisheries biologist, and Hope Carlton and a crew went down to Santee Cooper and caught hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
South Carolina let us bring those back. Now, these fish are anadromous.
What's that mean?
That means that in their normal areas, if they're doing what they want to do, they're like a salmon. They go from saltwater to freshwater to spawn and then back.
Okay.
They can live to be about 30 years old, which means they attain great size. And down in the tailwaters in Cumberland, you know, they catch them up to 60 pounds.
Wow.
Now, that's a big animal.
That's big.
And a lot of people think this meat would not be that good to eat, but let me differ with you. It is white and flaky.
We like it.
It is delicious. I made some with Roddy and Lisa not here too long ago.
That was
Made a
so
little butter, lemon sauce. That was delicious.
Yeah.
But today, we're going to borrow from Paul Prudhomme. Now, he was down there. He was a Cajun guy. You know, he was a PBS cooking show host.
Really?
Yes, back in the day. And He came up with blackened seasoning. He almost destroyed the redfish population. Now, you look at a red drum or redfish that are all around the East Coast and South. These fish, and all the way back up in the Gulf, these fish were once considered like a carp. You catch them, you have fun with them.
Right.
Until Paul came up with blackened seasoning. Once that took off and people started catching red drum and they wanted to blacken them, they had to start putting limits on these fish because people really enjoyed the taste of those red drum when they were blackened, so on and so forth. So tonight we're going to make a whole feast. We're going to make all the sides and everything, which we like to do.
Yeah, and we're starving.
When we can get outside.
Yeah.
And this is fairly quick. Say you're fishing. Now everybody carries a cooler with them when you go fishing. So carry these ingredients. Always have your cast iron with you.
That's right.
You never know
That's
when
right.
you might need to break a fire out and start one very easily. So off to the side, we got some water boiling for our broccoli. We're going to show you what we're doing here. But first, let's get our cornbread mix started. And for campfires and convenience sake, and Dutch oven cooking, I'm going to take a packet.
Oh, yeah.
And in this case, since we're hungry, let's take 2 of these.
Right.
This is why I always want to bring my handy dandy mix. It's already pre-measured out. All you need to do is you can add water. I would prefer, myself, to add buttermilk. And here I'd say we're at least 1.5 cups, maybe more till you get about this consistency. Maybe put a little bit more in there. I got this in bear camp. I was in Canada a few years ago. Here's a picture of the bear that I took. A great big old bear. He was a popping young bear. Shot him with my teeth, with my bow. Was that not some of the best meat you've ever had?
It was amazing.
Now, when I talked to Phil Weisenberger, and he's talking about the cornbread mix, he likes buttermilk.
Always. They all use buttermilk.
I love
His mom has buttermilk.
Let's cut up some of those jalapenos.
Right.
This is bear camp cornbread. Now, some pieces of bacon would go good in this too. We had some cracklings, which we did a while back. We're going to start referring back to things that we've already done and show you a quick clip of that because all this stuff you can go back and reference. All right, now look what we have here.
Wow.
That actually makes a noise. You hear it sighing and hissing and popping towards the end. You know you're there.
That's amazing what it did. It's like little potatoes.
Here.
Could I eat those?
Yeah, you can eat them. So these are what everybody's heard about the cracklings. And that's the noise they make while they're cooking over the top of lard. Now, when we get this all off, we're going to ladle this up and put it in small jars because, you know, typically when we're cooking with lard, we're cooking with it in the bottom of a pan like you would use vegetable oil or whatever. And this is a small batch, of course, because we're just showing you how we do it. But the next step now is to set these aside. You'll take you some cheesecloth. We'll use 2 or 3 layers. Put you a strainer, pour it into your jar, and basically let it sit there till it cools, and then it will kind of become like bacon grease. Now, that is not the white clear stuff, but, okay, Taryn.
I could eat these.
Okay, we got enough for maybe one more jar. Let's do another jar. What we're gonna do right here is we're gonna take our cracklings, just because we can't resist it. We're gonna pour them off in the skillet. Take some salt. And we're just basically gonna turn these over and get them nice and crisp. You talk about good, man. You put cracklings in cornbread? Are you kidding me? I like onions too. When you render your lard down, you end up with cracklings.
Those are good.
That's a crackling press up on the porch there. They would squeeze every bit of stuff they could get out of there for their lard. And you know why they wanted their lard, because it's precious stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Is that good enough?
Yep. Now, these are not the hot ones. These are the mild jalapenos.
So I'm not going to burn my eyes out?
No, you won't burn your eyes out. Let's add about, I don't know, 4 or 6 ounces of corn, not the whole thing. A little bit of corn.
No more?
That gives you some nice consistency. Let's cut that onion up, about half that onion.
Right.
Put that onion in there. Whether you think this is a sin or not, if you don't want to put sugar in it, don't. I want to.
I like sugar. Sugar's not a sin. Sugar's
We're going
good.
to put some sugar in here. If you can't use sugar, don't. If you don't want to use sugar, don't. But if you can imagine, this tastes more like a dessert once you get the corn, the sweet of the corn, the jalapenos, and the sweet onions in there, let me tell you what, this is hard to beat. So, 10-inch pan, 450 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to keep our eye on this because we don't want it to burn. So if you had to guess, for 450 degrees on a 10-inch pan,
I would go 19 and 10. That's what my brain's telling me.
you are
Am I
super
smart? It
intelligent,
just came to
Mrs.
me.
Farmer.
That's right, thank you.
Now, what level are we at today? Are we at tenderfoot, cowpoke, or ranger? We're on the cowpoke side of things.
Okay.
You know what? This is a good, solid meal. You know, so a couple things are in packages. So if it was really complicated, we'd go on up to ranger. But today it's a good, solid cowpoke. Now, Mrs. Farmer, we also have water on the boil. So in a second, what I would like to do is take the heads of these off and drop those in there. We don't have to get those terribly boiled. We want to have a little bit of crunch to them because we're going to make our side out of broccoli. If I said cheddar cheese, would it make you happy?
I love cheese. Everybody likes cheese.
We're just going to take it over and drop it in. All right, so blackened seasoning.
Okay.
Now, this is pretty close to Paul Prudhomme's original seasoning. I think he put this in a cookbook back in the 80s. And a lot of people have taken his recipe and changed it around a little bit, but that's where it started. Let's start with 2.5 teaspoons of salt, 1 full tablespoon of paprika, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder. Now, on your cayenne pepper, if you want it hot, go a teaspoon. If you want it less, go half, 3/4 a teaspoon of black pepper, 3/4 a teaspoon of white pepper. Now, you know, the thyme is what you really taste in there. So we're going to go a half a teaspoon of thyme, half a teaspoon of dry oregano. Then we're going to go a half a teaspoon of fennel, and that's what we've added. And I took my fennel seeds and I just basically, it takes a little work. I ground them up there, but I think it adds a nice little taste to it. So we're going to take all those ingredients, we're going to put them in our little bowl. We're going to take our filet, we're going to cut it into good serving type pieces. We're going to cut any red meat off that might be there. That's the strong meat. Butter. I wish you could smell this. And we're going to get those spices all over that. Then we're going to take a hot skillet. I mean a hot skillet, no oil. We're going to set that on the fire. Then we're going to take our fish, we're going to pop it in there. We're talking about 1.5 minutes per side. When you pop it in there, you take a dollop of butter, melted butter, and put it in there. It's going to flare up a little bit, but that's going to help get that taste and caramelize everything on there. About 1.5 minutes per side, then you got you some blackened striper. Now again, this is popular down on the coast with redfish, but you've had blackened trout, you've had blackened everything just about. All right, for a side, big russet potato.
Simple. I'm gonna start peeling my potato.
Now this was actually in your grandmother's restaurant.
Right. These are her potato cakes that she would make. And my mom said she would make them at the house for the kids too. And I can't believe I haven't made these. I made them the other day and they're delicious.
Well, they're super simple. And there's, I mean, you could use like store-bought hash browns, whatever you want.
She said fresh potato. That's how she made it.
Well, it tastes better. Everything's better with fresh potato.
And this one potato will make about 5 little cakes.
Now, we got our broccoli sitting here. We took it off. It's soft enough. We've got our cornbread coming along nicely. I'd say another 5 minutes, we'll check it. So the goal is to get everything kind of together in the same amount of time. So
and this we're just going to brown up. Now we're just going to shred this whole potato.
Oh, watch your finger.
I
took a hunk of the apple. Fix me up.
All right. Now, a little bit of onion.
That's what I'm talking about.
However much you like. And I like to shred it because it makes it littler. And that's all you're liking. What do you think? Good enough?
I like it.
All right. And then she said she'd take 1 egg. These are our chicken eggs. And I almost forgot, we got a little salt and pepper on this.
Oh, yeah. And we carry our industrial size. We cook a lot, so we always have lots of spices around.
And she would mix this up. I'm going to mix it up with my hands. Took my ring off. And we're going to add a little bit of flour.
Just firm things up?
Yeah. And I tried it a bunch of different ways. I had just a little flour extra. It still tasted wonderful.
So too much flour.
Also, well, I'll let you decide how much you think I need.
You want me to just put it in there for you?
Yeah.
Can I use my fingers?
Yep, you sure can. And it just helps it.
You can tell me what you think.
All right. Go ahead and put all that in.
All right.
And actually put a little bit more. And Mom didn't have measurements. She just said this is just how she did it different every time. So now we're going to get a pan. We're gonna just make these into little balls. We're gonna put them in there, smush the balls down, and flip them a few times, and you're gonna have little tiny potato cakes. They're gonna be wonderful. They're
Smash them down.
The crispy as you want them. Just keep going until then.
I like the sound of that. A little salt, a little pepper, a little bit of butter. Butter's good for you, you know.
Yum.
Do you hear the sizzle?
I do.
The continuous, never-ending sizzle. Oh, it smells so good. Coming back with a little cheddar cheese, a little Parmesan. Mrs. Farmer, would you like some more cheese?
I always love cheese. You can never have enough cheese.
Here's our fish. It's almost done. Let's set this over here and let it melt just a little bit.
I'm Lardo.
And I'm Burley.
And we're the Moron Brothers. Got a frog in my throat. He talked about Uncle Ben there. Uncle Ben, he was bad to make moonshine, and he done it a lot. He was good at it, but it finally killed him. They used to dig a big pit in the ground, line it with plastic, and that's where they'd put their mash and let it work, you know, let it make alcohol in this big pit. He drowned in that pit in that big pit. He drowned and had to go tell Aunt Judy, and Daddy's the one told Aunt Judy, said that Uncle Ben was drowned in that big pit of mash up there. She said, Lord have mercy, bless his heart. Said, I feel so bad for him. Dad said, you shouldn't, because he got out 3 times to go to the bathroom. Shawnee Creek.
All right, then.
Well, down the river to Shawnee Creek, and a fella called Muskrat Dan. He lived on the water with a pretty little daughter, and Lord, he's a mean old man. I slipped down and visited with her, and he's out checking his trap line. If he ever catches me, he'll have my hide to grind. I'm going down to Shawnee Creek, take my pole and gun, do a little hunting and fishing, see my gal and have some fun. Sometimes fries up catfish, coon, muskrat, and squirrel. It's always cornbread and wild green. Man, I love that girl. When she wears a red bandana in her hair, I know her pappy's gone. If I don't see a red bandana there, that mean old man is home. I pull my boat up on the bank and I hide there in the weeds. Sometimes it takes half a day for that old man to leave. I'm going down to Shawnee Creek, take my pole and gun, do a little hunting and fishing, see my gal and have some fun. Sometimes you fry the crappie, deer meat, rabbit or quail. It's always cornbread and wild green. Man, I love that gal. Gonna build us a little old shanty boat and make her my river queen. Every day we'll eat a different kind of meat with a cornbread and green. I'll have to face old Muskrat Dan, hope he don't draw his gun. He won't be losing his pretty little daughter, just have me for a son. I'm going down to Shawnee Creek, take my pole and gun, do a little hunting and fishing, see my gal and have some fun. Sometimes he cooks me a big old carp, possum or beaver tail. It's always cornbread and wild green. Man, I love that gal!
All right, we're gonna try first.
Wow, the fish.
We had to rip this stuff off here. Look at how white and flaky.
Wow, that is good.
That's ridiculous. Tonight we decided to cook over the fire I always love it. It just adds that little bit of hickory flavor. That fish is impossible to beat. I see why they almost killed all the poor redfish down there. The cornbread is like
All the potatoes are
outstanding.
good too. Oh, the cornbread's really good.
And Grandma Calokerino's.
That was good.
Wow. Let me tell you what. That's my kind of eating. All right, let's chew. Let me tell you what. This state is so blessed with resources. I'm going to take all the striper I can. I got friends who don't eat it.
And they give it to you. I love
They
that.
give it to
yes.
me. I'm like, that's good.
You have so many ways to cook it. That's amazing.
Look, I want you to look
That's
at this. I
good.
want you to look at something right here. I want you to look at that
Wow.
meat right there. Look at the consistency. That's striper. That's what people think are junk fish. That's what you would go to a restaurant in New York and pay a big bunch of money for. Flaky, tender,
Delicious.
no strong taste.
Your seasoning's perfect.
Now, you see us cooking outside today. Hopefully we're doing a lot more.
Right.
Once
The weather.
the sky closes. Millions and gazillions and quadrillions of recipes we have. Where would you find those?
TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com.
Click on YouTube. Boom, all kinds of recipes there. Also, when you do that, hit subscribe. That way, when a new segment comes out, you're
I
notified.
get it immediate.
Oh man.
Yum.
Oh man. So simple. Blackened seasoning in your own home. You can make it. There's nothing to it. What I do if I know I got a bunch of fish coming
Right.
is I make a big batch of it. I'll take one of those containers that are empty and put about that much in there. That'll do you for, 8 or 10
Oh, yeah.
settings, depending on when you got people coming over or not. Facebook. If you want to be our Facebook friend, what would you do, Miss Farmer?
I'd hit like.
Just boom, hit like, you're on. We talk about recipes. We have people post their recipes. We share ideas. We talk about all kinds of stuff. Sadly, the sun's about to drop over the hill.
That's right. And I'm
And
starving.
do I hear the sound of dum, dum, dum? I hear the sound of hooves.
Yeah.
I think let's go out on a little cowboy yodeling here. It's been that kind of day. This week has been a wonderful outdoor experience. Next week, who knows?
That's right.
But we got a brand new show. Until then, it's all about good times
Good friends.
and good eats. We'll see you next week.
Please call 502-319-0487 or email timfarmerck@gmail.com.